This is going to be a video that will resonate with a lot of people because I guarantee that any person that has actually been chosen by the Most High, by Yahuwah, knows that it's a lonely path, and sometimes it does feel like you are God's only child. You're Yahuwah's only child in this. And it's because the love is so intense. Like, you can feel the love so strongly from the Father. And yet at the same time, it's as if when you look out into the world and you see all of these people that are takers, that are trying to carve out pieces of your soul to just fit into their game, it's really disheartening to see sometimes. But I want to stay focused, though, on the blessings of this feeling like you're God's only child, because even though I don't like to do chosen ones content, I don't like to call myself a chosen one necessarily, even though I understand that in the Bible it says that God's chosen people are a peculiar people. I do think that a lot of the times people's vanity and their quote-unquote God complex comes out. This is something that we've kind of touched on with members in the Regal Change Academy recently, where people almost give you this God complex as a way to flatter you. And any time that you're being flattered by somebody and you start to even a hint of vanity starts to reveal itself, your direct connection to the Most High is immediately disrupted and is immediately counteracted with not only spiritual attacks and temptations, but also it's like you feel the Holy Spirit leave you in some sense. And this is something that I know that if you are feeling like you're God's only child, Yeshua, Yahuwah, whoever you want to call, like Jesus per se, right? Because I'm using the Hebrew names now, Yahuwah and Yeshua. This is something that I think we're going to start to have to weave into and mold into through time. But ultimately, these are people that understand the isolation process, that understand the gravity and the density of the will that you must have to overcome these temptations and spiritual attacks, etc. Because when you are on this spiritual path and you feel like everything around you is being taken from you, you still have within your heart and within your soul, you still have that place where you can go to that is ultimately pureness with your relationship to the Most High. And in that purity and in that pureness, you find something that you never really thought would even be possible before trying to develop this relationship, because you start to feel way more at ease and calm. Even when you have all of these people after you and all that stuff, you're a targeted individual, or you're getting gang stalked, or you have a smear campaign against you, there's a Jezebel that's attacking you, or there's an incubus for the females out there that may be watching it. There's these little things and little hints of darkness that always try to take your life. But when you are really walking with Yahuwah's laws, statutes, and commandments, there's really no way that you can go wrong. But at the same time, you learn how to rely on yourself. You learn that you can't really trust people out here. And it's not to say that you just close your heart off completely and that you just become this absolute stone cold rock. But you have to know who to invest in and who not to invest in. And oftentimes you can see the person's spirit and you can see the way that they move a lot easier than just the fruit. Like the fruit of their works, let's say, is going to be more relevant than any kind of words they utter. And so a lot of the times these people will utter words of encouragement or support or whatever, but when the time comes when you really need them, they're no longer there. And why is that? Well, you didn't necessarily lose these people. You just realized who they really were. And you didn't lose anything or anyone. Like in the past, when I thought I had like lost money, or I had lost a job, or I had lost this, or I had lost friends or anything like that, I don't have that mentality anymore. I don't lose anything. I don't have to think of myself as losing anything. I'm only building my affluence and my influence, or I'm learning about how to grow as an individual, because ultimately this is about how can I best mature within my heart and my soul so that I can better serve him. If we operate from this mindset, a lot of things start to fall into place, but oftentimes you have nobody to rely on. And sometimes in the darkest times of your life, when you need to go through those things alone, it's going to be like you are the only child of God, because, and I'm not saying that you're the son of man or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you just feel as though, even though we are all children of God, in some sense, you feel like your relationship to him is just so unique. And you feel like there's just some kind of uniqueness within your relationship to him that nobody could understand. And it's because they don't. Nobody could understand your relationship to Yahuwah the way that you do. And Yahuwah knows that. He knows that. And it's a beautiful thing that Yeshua became a man, because you can just feel the love always around you. You can be moving through the deepest and darkest moments of your life. You can drive yourself crazy with anxiety or whatever. You can be stuck in your mind and having these thought loops and all that. But if you're able to just sit back and really just watch it for what it is, it's actually quite peaceful, and it's actually quite understandable of why you're going through the things that you did. Sometimes you're not going to understand, but that's where, as the Bible says, lean not on your own understanding, but on the Most High's. And that's exactly what you need to do in these situations, because even though, for me, for example, I was not raised in a family where I was the only child. I was the eldest, and that came with a lot of responsibilities and such. But I ultimately did not learn how to be independent until I was truly on my own. When I was about 22, 23, was when I started to realize like how alone I really was. And at the end of this life, it's going to be between me and, at that time, I just called it the other. I didn't know what else to call it really, but I was just calling it the other. It kind of adopting Terence McKenna's term for who he met in the psychedelic realms. And I called it the other because I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew there was like a higher power. But I didn't want to believe, and I didn't want to accept the notion that the Most High, Yeshua, was actually a person. I didn't want to actually believe that Yeshua was real. Because if I did, then it would actually go to show that I was wrong about a lot of things for a long time. And it was almost like coming home to a father that I had completely disregarded, but always took care of me. And even though he knew that I was sent into the world of darkness, and I went through all this, I went through the ringer growing up. I went through the ringer. But it was as if he sent me to go through this whole other life in the Matrix so that I could come back to him with more of an appreciation, more of an understanding, more of a ruthless compassion mindset. Because I do think that we need to be ruthless in some sense as godly people, as chosen people, but I do not think that we need to be absent in our compassion. I think to be absent in our compassion would be to completely dismiss what it means to be a godly person, but that does not mean we have to tolerate everything. It does not mean that. But it's something about completion times completion is exactly what Yeshua did. That's why he became a man. That's why he became a man, was so that he could complete the completeness of this everlasting life that we are being bestowed upon us, to be born again. And when I was born again, it was literally as if I was being brought back from the dead. It was literally as if Jesus, Yeshua, was breathing life into me. And I remember it so distinctly because I remember breathing like I could finally breathe for the first time, because it was as if I had so much pressure from the burdens of life. Like there was always so much happening in my life. There was always so much chaos. I could never catch a break. And now it's almost like even when I cannot catch a break in this life, because I'm with Yeshua and he is with me, everything is still okay. I was even just praying the other night, asking about, why did I have to go through that and that? In some series of reflections, I was trying to pinpoint, why did I go through that? And all I heard was Yeshua saying to me, you were meant to. And I said, yeah, but why? But why, Yeshua? Why did I have to go through that? Why was I meant to go through that? I don't exactly know what I was supposed to learn there. And the answer that I got was to create your own sense of justice. You have to learn that because doing justice is more important than sacrifice to the Most High, you sometimes have to learn how to create your own justice. And sometimes to create your own justice means to go against what you think is the right thing to do or the compassionate thing to do. You might have to be a little bit ruthless. And me, myself, my temperament, I did not always want to be a ruthless person. I did not want to always be I didn't want to hurt people's feelings or step on people's feelings. I didn't want to hurt people in general. But now it's like, I still don't want to hurt people, but I understand that I have to look out for myself first. And it's not because I'm selfish. It's not because I don't care about other people. It's because Yeshua has a plan for me. And in order to abide in that plan, I cannot surround myself around people that are going to hinder that plan, or they're going to try to destroy that path that Yeshua has laid out before me. Because if I'm around those people, I'm going to be sucked away to a different path. I'm going to be doing side quests that I don't want to be doing. And in a way, it's very humbling to acknowledge that. And when I get down on my knees every night to talk to my Father in heaven, I just grow closer to him more and more each day. And I know that if you're watching this and you're still watching this, that you're doing the same thing. You know that your relationship to him is absolutely between you and him. And that is something that is so cool. Like, isn't that so neat that you can really feel like he died on that cross for you. And that's really something to think about. It's really something to think about. I never understood the density of that until even just last year, really. And I've been following Yeshua for nearly 3 years now, but I've been spiritually awakened for about 6, maybe actually 7 now. 7 years. And there's just nothing like it. There's just nothing like being and abiding in the truth and knowing that he, like, someone loved you enough to take all the suffering of the world upon himself so that he could complete the moral compass of not just humankind, but specifically for you, so that you can live the best life that you possibly could on this life, in this world and beyond. And to really accept that somebody loves you enough to do that, that was the hardest thing for me, because I was fairly avoidant. I was fairly avoidant in my relationships, because every time I got too close, it was almost like people knew too much about me. And in the past, when people knew things about me, they would use that information as bullets. And so they'd use that information against me. And so every time I got a little too close, it was always like, nope, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Don't want to go too close to them. But now it's more like, I know that even though my heart can still be hurt by other people, if it does, I can always be healed by the Most High, because I have stayed within my relationship with him. And it's not because I'm once saved, always saved. I don't believe in that. I think it's more about striving each and every day to follow Yahuwah's and the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, so that you can fully integrate that into your own life and be the person that you're meant to be, that you were created to be. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen and be with me. You could have been doing whatever it is that you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. But it's really nice to be here and to just share this moment with you virtually, even though, I mean, who knows how and when people are going to be watching this, but that's the whole point of these videos. I made a video earlier today, and it really got me thinking about, what exactly is the true meaning of these videos? What am I really trying to do with this? And it's really about expressing something so that more people can be moved to learn how to express themselves and build their own lives. And that's exactly what I want to be doing. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing with my life than doing something like that. And so with all that being said, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the Regal Change Academy, in the Discord, as well as the paid community. If you do want to join the paid community, where we have weekly group calls, Bible studies, we have a bunch of other resources available. There'll be around 150 people or so in that godly community. That's the place to go if you want to learn more about that. If you want to just be in the Discord community, where you have about 90 people or so there, where they're also godly individuals, and that's the free version though. You can join that. And I want to thank everybody that has been moving from the YouTube platform over to the Rumble and the X platform recently. I do appreciate it and appreciate the support. And it's great to see that kind of support being distributed and expanded. So with all that being said, peace be with you all. Till next time.